now Minister of State in charge of Government Communications designate.
Yes.
Felix Kwachofosu about happenings in Obuasi. And that's a report put together by our correspondents in the Ashanti region.
It's interesting, right? The conversation and how government views this. So to some of us, straightforward. If illegal miners are not curtailed and they invade your concession and they open fire, the military response. Government is coming from the point of view that nobody first and foremost should presume these are illegal miners. Yes, so government does not take the view that it is automatically the case that they are illegal miners. Mostly, and notice why this is funny, mostly government officials will protect the security officers, stroke the company. But maybe because it's early days yet, I sense the position that government say no, let there be an independent determination of the facts here. Hopefully it will be independently done. Of course, we have complained, and I know that these mining firms have complained for how many years? For a very long time. That this is a very familiar terrain. It starts as agitation, then later on they go and sit them down and say, okay, you give some part of your concession to them. Then they end up taking these concessions and still moving into other protected areas. Now sometimes they go and do all the illegal things on the land, destroy the land. Then state officials will go and say that these mining firms were supposed to do proper mining on these lands. So why are they allowing others to misuse the land?
Yeah.
There's no problem with the investigation. I mean, I think that the back of what in Parliament is needless. Oh well, you have to be heard because you represent people, and this is Ashanti region. This is an important area. Mining is a big issue. Mining is one of the stories that people get to report internationally and give it different perspective. But hopefully, when they say an independent body, a body that is fearless and it's not bowing to the whims of be it government, the company, or the people there, but will be independent enough to determine that these are the real facts, then we can proceed from there. But I think this is just a symptom of the bigger malaise. The bigger malaise is that illegal mining is a problem on our hands. We have not taken active steps to curb it, and we have treated it like something that we should live with because of the political undertones that we have given to it.
Let me just give you a proverb that ABA Fusini. He says, if you turn your child into a monster, you are the first person he will attack. We have pretended for too long that illegal mining doesn't matter in this country. We play all the politics with it.
Yeah.
And that's what is happening to us. Now, what I have learned is that, government also wants to ensure there's calm in the community. And government doesn't want a situation where the community members now begin to attack the installations of the company and others, and that's why they're going around it that way. But let's get into the papers. Let's start with the Daily Graphic.
The Graphic is reporting this morning 17 more ministers nominated, a cabinet secretary in the very person of Professor Kwaku Danso Boafo has actually been been appointed 2 years. Of course, he does not require any form of vetting anyway. And 9 presidential staffers also named. There was a time that we picked cabinet secretaries out of the diplomatic corps. So is that 7 or? But it should have some history. I remember last year they used to consistently make the point that it is because a certain qualification is automatically required. But Prof is an institution on its own. So of course the list is tall. Yesterday it was quite dramatic the way Romano was releasing that thing. When he was with us here, obviously the list might have been in his pocket, but he knew. No. Historically, he's mindful. Because he's very much mindful.
Anything can happen.
Yes, because nowadays your name can be on the list on its way to Parliament, and the change will happen.
This
is the Republic of Ghana. Yes, true. Of course. I suspect that is why my name was dropped, because I told my people in my hometown that I was getting
happiness minister.
Happiness minister. I see. And it looks like the people are not considering me again.
I asked the question. Minister in charge of special initiatives, Minister of State in charge of special
duties.
The duties.
Initiatives.
Special initiatives.
It sounded like the Ministry for Special Development Initiatives. That was how
Kumson's ministry.
How
Kumson.
Oh, I said Yakubu. Why do I always do this to this woman?
It's like that. Then there's also a Minister of State in charge of climate change, sustainability. And then there's
that I support. I do not just know why it is separate from environment, science, and innovation.
Exactly.
I support that we have a specific focus on climate change and, more importantly, sustainability.
So how is that different from Ministry of Environment, Science and Technology?
And there's also green economy somewhere. Is it green economy?
And,
is it green transition?
Green transition.
Okay, yes, one of them there. So maybe we should recalibrate and put them together. There was an indication for Brazil some time ago that if we really mean business, we should have lands, environment, and everything connected to it, including mining, all under the same ministry.
Yeah.
Because you do not want different ministers making different directives and decisions on a matter that's related, so that the gaps will be exploited. It's something that's always a problem in financial regulation.
And that's actually the reason I ask also. So then we have a Minister of State in charge of government communications. Really? And so we don't have the presidential parliament. So we don't have the presidential spokesperson. We have a deputy presidential spokesperson. Would that deputy presidential spokesperson be working with a Minister of State in charge of government communications?
So this is almost like a Minister of Information without a Ministry of Information.
Exactly.
Perhaps you'll be operating from the Flagstaff House, Jubilee House, as it's mostly called recently, from the Jubilee House, then coordinating all the information units of government without any difficulty. I do frankly not know how it's going to operate subsequently.
Yeah.
But I am for this thing called Ministry of Information. That is basically because if you check the ministries, they have their own departments that are actually in charge of information. If the Ministry of Information's only job is to coordinate the various sectors under it, I don't have a difficulty it being scrapped, and these units falling under the office that this Minister of State is likely to occupy. I do not, because, and again, it depends on the number that we are still making and look, because first we said 23, but these Minister of States without ministries, they add up to the numbers.
26.
And we are not sure whether they are going to now get deputy ministers for every one of those 23.
No, they wouldn't.
It would exceed 60.
60.
Yeah.
So we'll have that conversation today.
True.
For instance, if you look at the Ministry of Local Government, Religious Affairs and Chieftaincy, I do not even think you need a ministry for chieftaincy and religious affairs.
But isn't that why it's been consolidated?
You don't even need the start local government, religious affairs and chieftaincy. Chieftaincy, the National House of Chiefs is there. They will do a very good job. You don't need but let's just stay with it. You have 16 regional ministers. Do you also need a deputy minister for local government, chieftaincy, and religious affairs?
No, you don't need it. Presume that these regional ministers are actively operating for the local government minister in the various, or they have DCs.
You would need maybe a deputy minister of interior because of the agencies under that ministry. But you need a deputy minister of defense? I do not think so. Anyway, I do not think you need a deputy minister of defense. And so we'll have this conversation later on the show. When it comes to say Ministry of Sports and Recreation,
and even
you will not need a deputy.
Even the defense part, you have a national security form of thing.
Exactly. So you don't need
which is coordinating directly under the commander-in-chief.
Even foreign affairs, there's a portion
coordinating under the commander-in-chief as the president himself. He chairs the National Security Council.
Yeah.
So I think that maybe we are sticking to old structures, but greater engineering will mean that we can still reduce some of these and make more meaning with what ministries are supposed to be. Since we have said the ministry can be remodeled whichever way it wants anyway, I suspect that in the future there will be a government that will say, no, I only need 10 ministers. And that the cabinet ceiling is that I should have at least 10, right? Yes, when I have the 10 ministers, or up to 19, the higher ceiling, I don't want to meet it. I want to meet the lower end, 10 ministers. moving on with my life with the 10 ministers. If you have a difficulty with me, check whether I'm not delivering on the ground.
I'm also even thinking that because we've created this special envoy to the Alliance of Sahelian States, you may not need a deputy foreign affairs minister.
Do you need a Ministry of Works and Housing?
A deputy?
That Ministry itself, Works and Housing.
I get you. Yeah, it's.
What's it doing?
It's redundant in nature.
We'll have that conversation.
It will spend 4 years, then they will go and build some 500, 200, 100 houses. Those number of houses, some developments in this country do more than that. Meanwhile, ideally, you just need coordination of those people.
Meanwhile, you see, the Gary project taught us one thing. It was a collaboration of ministries.
True.
And that tells you that you don't need some of the ministries that you have there.
I agree.
Works and housing. Look, people have set in place their own development plans, municipalities. And when we're studying local economic development at the Institute of Local Government Studies, some of the things that you would learn is how district assemblies coordinate their developments and do it so well. When it comes to housing, they decide these are the number of housing units we want to construct, using sometimes local equipment. Mavi, let's get to the Ghanaian Times.
There's a story.
And before you move on, let me mention the other headlines. Cash flow woes cripple SHS food supply. I think this matter we dealt with yesterday too. The latest is what the Minister for Government Communications gave us. Attaining food sufficiency, government to introduce 2 agric programs, and Eric Popoko is the one who said it. Yes, so the 19th is on the front. And Kasua juvenile killer prays for forgiveness. That's on the back page of the paper. And Dansuman Beach Road residents plead for sea defense completion, and that's also there.
So the story that you read on the back page, the Kaswa murder issue, I was just going to say, details of it. If you're a parent, first of all, I apologize for the details that I'm going to give you. It's going to break your heart as a parent. It's going to break your heart as a citizen of Ghana. So this is a 15-year-old who killed his friend, and he wanted to do that so that he could make money out of it, because a spiritualist had apparently asked him to. And so he lured him and killed him in a really gory manner. I'm not going to describe that because that would be absolutely disturbing. But he's asking for forgiveness. He's been sentenced now. He says that he's been apologizing to his friend. He's been asking for forgiveness, and he keeps asking for forgiveness. He's been sentenced now to 12 years, but before that he was on remand for some 3 years.
12 months?
12 months, yes.
Okay, let's get the other stories on the front page. Briefly on the Ghanaian Times, what other stories are
10 appointees, just what we've dealt with. 10 appointees to President's office named. President Mahama nominates 17 more ministers, and we will generate massive revenue from property rates. That's the local government minister saying that.
Let's go for the online news review brought to us by Zenith Bank in your best interest and Goil Good Energy. Goil, Yanai India.
Now, Good Energy brings you Goil Super XP. This is the ideal choice for most vehicles. It is fully it's many Goil stations in the country. Just go for your vehicle and enjoy the smooth ride with all the benefits that comes with it. Now, Goil Super XP is quality and gives you the correct choice when buying regular fuel. Goil Super XP is fortified with a special additive that gives longevity to your engine and makes your engine perform to the max, using minimal fuel and suitable for most vehicles. As you journey the road, look out for Goil stations with the Goil Super XP sign and go fuel up your vehicle. Goil Super XP won't failure. Ube feely Goil Good Energy.
And pay your school and residential fees with Zenith Bank. It's stress-free. Students of KNUST, University of Ghana, UDS, University of Education, Winneba, UMAT, Ola College of Education, Akosombo International School, Ecole Wansat, and many others, or their guardians can visit any Zenith Bank branch nationwide or use the school's designated merchant code to pay school and residential fees for students. With Zenith Bank, fee payments are fast, easy, and processed in real time. For the full list of schools, visit zenithbank.com.gh or call Zenith Direct on 0302 680 or 054 2000 for assistance. Zenith Bank in your best interests.
On myjoyonline.com this morning, whether Maham appoints PNC members or not, we have our game plan That's Bernard Mona Randia be appointed acting Cocoa Board CEO, and stop politicizing Obuasi clash after forcing to NPP. Citynewsroom.com for this morning says appointment committees has been abysmal in vetting nominees as SEPA, and also on CNN this morning it says Xi Jinping and Putin hail tightening ties in call hours after Trump inauguration. Let's now go for the BBC News, brought to us by Fidelity Bank. Believe with us, an old mutual 10 years of greatness in Ghana, here for a lifetime.
Beverage giants Coca-Cola and PepsiCo have battled for dominance in India's vast consumer market. But now Asia's richest man is trying to challenge all that. We dive into India's cola wars.
This is the BBC World Service, the world's radio station.
Hello and welcome to Newsday on the BBC World Service.